Once upon a time, in a small town, lived a man named Sam. Sam was a kind-hearted but careless person. He had a habit of wasting food, something everyone around him noticed. Whenever he ate, he piled his plate high with more food than he could finish. When he cooked, he prepared too much and threw away the leftovers. At restaurants, Sam always ordered more than he could eat, leaving plates half full before walking out. "Why do you waste so much, Sam?" his neighbor, old Mr. Harris, would ask. Sam would shrug, smiling. "I'm not worried. Food's everywhere," Mr. Harris would sigh, shaking his head. "One day, you'll learn how precious food is." Sam never paid attention. He lived a comfortable life and didn't think twice about the food he threw away. But fate had a strange way of teaching lessons, and Sam's lesson was coming. The dream begins. One night, after a big dinner at a fancy restaurant where he barely touched his steak and vegetables, Sam went to bed feeling unusually heavy. As soon as he closed his eyes, he was pulled into a strange dream. He found himself in an enormous, empty field. The sky was gray, and the wind howled like it carried secrets. In the middle of the field stood a long dining table covered in all kinds of food: fruits, bread, meats, rice, soups, and desserts. It looked like a king's feast. At first, Sam felt excited. "Is this for me?" he whispered, his stomach rumbling. He walked toward the table, but as he got closer, something odd happened. The food started to spoil. The fruits turned brown, bread crumbled to dust, and meat rotted before his eyes. A horrible smell filled the air. Sam stopped, confused. "What's happening?" he cried out. Suddenly, he heard whispers, 1,000 voices, soft but haunting. "Why waste us, Sam?" Sam spun around, searching for the source. The whispers grew louder. "We nourished you. We came to your plate, and yet you threw us away." The voices seemed to come from the food itself. The table of spoiled dishes began to shake violently. Plates fell, bowls cracked, and from the mess rose shadowy figures. These figures had hollow eyes and outstretched hands. They moved toward Sam slowly. "Who are you?" Sam screamed, his heart pounding. One figure stepped closer, its voice clear and sharp. "We are the food you wasted. We are the meals you rejected. While you waste, others starve." The other shadows cried, their voices echoing like thunder. "You wasted us! You wasted us!" Sam stumbled back, tripping over his feet. Fear gripped his chest. He had never felt so small. The shadows surrounded him, their whispers growing louder and louder until they became a roar. "Look!" one figure commanded. Suddenly, the world shifted. Sam saw images: a mother feeding her starving child with just a single crust of bread, an old man picking through trash for scraps, families crying over empty pots, their stomachs aching with hunger. Sam could see their pain. He could feel their hunger, as if his own stomach had turned to stone. He fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. I'm sorry. I didn't know." The shadows hovered around him. "You did know. You just didn't care." "A second chance," Sam gasped, and woke up with a start, drenched in sweat. His heart raced as he looked around his room. Everything was normal, but the images from the dream lingered in his mind. His throat felt dry, his chest heavy. "Was that real?" he whispered to himself. When he stood up, his eyes fell on the takeout boxes from last night, still sitting on the table. Half the steak, untouched vegetables, and a slice of pie sat inside all food he had planned to throw away. Sam froze. The voices from his dream echoed in his ears. "While you waste, others starve." Without thinking, Sam sat down and carefully ate the leftovers. It wasn't about hunger, it was about respect. As he ate, he made a promise to himself. Never again. From that day on, Sam changed. He started cooking just enough for himself and saving leftovers for the next meal. At restaurants, He ordered smaller portions and always finished his plate. When he saw someone in need, he shared his food or donated to food drives. His friends noticed the change, and soon his actions inspired others. One day, Mr. Harris smiled at him and said, "Looks like you finally learned, Sam." Sam nodded, a thoughtful look in his eyes. "Food is a blessing, Mr. Harris. I won't take it for granted again." The lesson. Sam's dream never left him. Every time he looked at a plate of food, he remembered the shadows, the starving faces, and the haunting voices. He understood now wasting food wasn't just careless, it was a disrespect to those who had none. From that day forward, Sam became a better man, teaching everyone around him to value the food on their plates. And perhaps, somewhere, the shadows were watching, finally at peace. Thank you for listening this story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more inspiring tales. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it together. Let's make a difference.